Brian, one of the big arguments against a licensing scheme, and I've heard this for many years, is that effectively you are punishing and penalising good builders who would go through this to tackle a problem of a small minority of bad builders. And that what you're actually doing is, why should these firms carry an additional regulatory burden and an additional cost? Why should they have to have a licence to operate in this market?
Well, my argument to that is actually the good builders are being punished by these criminals coming into our building industry, damaging the reputation. And we see that by the billions of pounds that are paid out to rogue traders. So most builders that I know want to be recognised for the quality of what they do. Most builders I know would be happy to pay. 80% of our members have said they support licensing, and that actually by paying a few £100s a year to get that validation and remove that element, those cowboy builders, those criminals from our industry, is a price worth paying. And we are a sector that is unregulated. It's really bizarre that you wouldn't go into a taxi unless you knew that it was licensed. You wouldn't use a doctor unless you knew that that doctor was registered. And yet consumers are paying over tens of thousands of pounds to someone that they don't know is competent to do the work. And these people are undercutting legitimate, hard-working builders, taking work away from them. So there's nothing to fear if you're a good builder by having a license attached to your work, because it would actually create more work. And we know that because of the surveys we've done where consumers said they're put off having work done.
It will put up the cost of work, though. Prices are going to go up, aren't they, under a licensing scheme for the consumer?
By a very small amount. We're talking of hundreds of pounds for a small building company to be licensed. They will get more work because actually consumers will have the confidence to use a licensed builder to do the work. Otherwise, people hold back. We know that from surveys that we've done.
If it's a licensed market, though, everyone has to be licensed. And I know that I'm not going to be undercut by by another firm down the road. Am I not going to put my prices up?
I think there'll be more work. There's plenty of work in the building industry. We haven't got enough people in our industry to do the work that is needed. So I don't see that happening. I see actually more work will come in, and there will be enough for everyone. We need more people to come into our industry. The Construction Industry Training Board has said we need another 250,000 workers just to build the homes that are needed, let alone all the RMI work that needs to be done.
Yes, and of course the trade level and the RMI level is almost the feeder that then feeds through into then new house building and even sort of big
in that supply chain
projects.
Yes, because most SMEs are training most people who come into the building industry and they then move up through the supply chain.
Yes. So going right to the heart then of the economic impact of a licensing scheme, how would you counter the criticisms that actually, this is an expensive regulatory burden on a sector that it doesn't really matter? You're just bringing in a lot of extra costs. What's the economic benefits of doing this, as you see it?
Well, I think there's a lot of benefit to this because it actually increase extra work in the building industry. It will improve productivity because we'll be able to improve training and development in the building industry. It will tackle the skills crisis. We're not attracting enough people into the building industry. If we have a licensed industry, it will become attractive to more young people and from a wider section of society wanting to come into the building sector. And I think it will simplify the industry because we've got lots of organisations, scheme operators. It's very confusing. I think in time it will shake out and we'll have a much simpler, a much more efficient and a much more productive way of building.
That's good. One other criticism I've heard is concern, sort of, I guess it's back to the sort of penalties around what happens. Who gets penalised for, if there is this black market and an unlicensed market, who gets penalised? Are there sanctions on consumers for using unregulated builders? Are there sanctions on builders merchants for selling products to unregulated builders? Are there sanctions on, lenders lending money that ends up going to unregulated builders? Who gets penalised?
Who gets penalised? So we want the financial institutions to use licensed builders, and that would become the norm. And most homeowners will make sure they've got a licensed builder to meet the requirements of the financial lender. They won't be able to use non-licensed builder because they will be on a register. So that will address that issue. Concerns about from the merchants maybe about selling to unlicensed builders. Well, we're not going to make that a criminal offence because that's up to the unlicensed builder. That person could be doing odd jobs in the home, which won't be covered by licensing. So if it doesn't affect the structural integrity of the building, that's fine. So that market will still carry on. We're not going to license someone for hanging pictures because that would be a nonsense. So there's a bit of scaremongering, and sometimes it gets labelled as red tape. But actually, I see it as liberating, and actually would probably less regulation. Because one of the things my members tell me are about all the various accreditation schemes. Could we simplify it? This is one of the ways we could move towards simplification and reducing the number and costs of the various accreditation schemes.